Solve exponential equations using exponent properties. Let's look at our first one. We have 3/4 to the x equals 4/3 to the 7th. First thing we know is that our bases have to be the same. When I look at these, I notice that they're reciprocals of each other. Let's just review reciprocals for a second. If I have x to the -2, I could rewrite that as 1 over x squared. Now remember, this is over 1. If I have 4/3, I could rewrite that as 3/4 to the -1. And you know what? That's what we're going to do. Our 3/4 to the x is going to stay the same. But now, instead of writing 4/3, I'm going to write 3/4 to the -1, but it's still to the 7th power. Okay. The left side, I'm going to leave alone for just a minute, 3/4 to the x. But I know when I have a power to a power, I can multiply. So this is going to give us 3/4 to the -7. Well, now the bases are exactly the same, right? So I can make the exponents equal to each other. So guess what? X is -7. You're probably thinking, that doesn't look right. Well, let me prove it to you. We have 3/4 to the x. Well, the x we think is -7. Now, if I rewrote that, I could say that's 3/4 to the -1 all to the 7th power. Now, the -1 tells me I'm going to do the reciprocal. I'm really going to flip it. So we end up with 4/3 to the 7th power. Let's look at the next one. I have 3/7 to the 3x minus 7 equals 7/3 to the 7x minus 3. Well, we're going to do the same thing because I notice that I have 3/7 here and 7/3 here. They're reciprocals of each other. I'm going to leave the first one alone, equals. Now, instead of writing 7/3, I'm going to write 3/7 to the -1. That's my reciprocal, and it's still to the 7x minus 3. I'm going to keep simplifying here. So the left side is going to stay the same. I'm not going to do anything there. Now the right side, I'm going to have 3/7 to the -1 times 7x minus 3. Now with this one, I'm going to make a little arrow here. With this one, I'm going to use the distributive property. So this is going to be -7x plus 3. What's that going to look like? One more time with the bases. 3/7 to the 3x minus 7 equals 3/7 to the -7x plus 3. Our bases are the same, and the exponents are simplified, which really makes our lives easier. 3x minus 7 equals -7x plus 3. Let's do some algebra. I'm going to add 7x to both sides. We have 10x minus 7 equals 3. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to write it back up here. So I'm adding 7 to both sides, so I have 10x equals 10. When I divide by 10, I end up with x equals 1. Well, let's check it. Let's see if we're right. Move us over a little bit. All right, so we have 3/7 to the 3 times 1, because we said x is 1, minus 7. So this is 3/7 to the 3 minus 7, which is 3/7, to the -4. Now the negative tells us it's the reciprocal, and that is going to be the same thing as 7/3 to the 4th power. Let's look at the other side. I have 7/3 to the 7 times 1 minus 3. So I have 7/3 to the 7 minus 3. And then I end up with 7/3 to the 4th power. And guess what? I don't even have to do the exponent part. I can see that they're exactly the same. Yay!